I saw the Escape podcast making their ideal X-Men lineups, and I wanted to share mine for the MCU. I'm doing 7 members for my team, and I know that it's kind of a lot of members, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal for the X-Men. Honorable mentions, Colossus could add strength, but I didn't necessarily need him. Beast, we only have room for one blue dude on screen, I'm not gonna lie. They'll lose a little error on my team, and I'll talk about it later. Jubilee, just because she has a nostalgia factor with the X-Men, the 90s X-Men and 97, but I'm gonna go a different route. First, you gotta have the leader of the X-Men. This goes without saying, Cyclops. Hopefully he's depicted for the first time the right way. Hopefully he's depicted as an actual leader and a hero, rather than just being a cuck to Wolverine, and he's my favorite X-Men. Next, when you have Cyclops, you gotta have Jean Grey. The dynamic is just there. I hope we actually have the on-screen chemistry that we deserve as comic fans, and she's the most OP member of the X-Men. You need her. I told you guys we only had room for one blue guy on the team, and that's Nightcrawler. Not only is Nightcrawler just cool, like his teleporting effects, everything about him is swords, but you got to balance out the team. He'll be a really good support member for the X-Men, teleporting in and out, getting them to do. He's not like a bruiser on the team, so I feel like it'll make good scenes. This goes without saying. I think Storm's one of the best well-written characters in comics, and she obviously deserves a spot on this X-Men team. Her power, her strength, she's definitely going to be one of the heavy hitters of this team. And I think Storm, Jean have a really good sisterhood dynamic as represented in X-Men 97. And she'll be like the words of wisdom for this team because, as I said earlier, we didn't pick Beast. So we have to have somebody that has a higher level of intelligence than other members of the team. She's not necessarily a strategist, but I think she'll fill that role well. This is a character a lot of people may not agree with, but Iceman is my second favorite X-Men. And I think he will balance out this team well, both in power and dynamic. Without like a character like Colossus or Beast, you don't really have a physically imposing character, so Iceman's armor and the unique ways he uses his powers will be a really cool spectacle to see on screen. You can already imagine him armoring up or becoming like the size of Groot and then attacking an enemy, as well as the fact that he'll be the comedic effect, I think, for this movie. Next, you gotta have Rogue. I love the sibling dynamic between her and Nightcrawler, and she just brings so many different potential scenes to the movie, with her being able to take so many other people's powers, and her character just so strong. Not just in power, but in character. She has a strong personality, so I think that will serve well with the other mix of characters on screen. For my last pick, I did 7 members because I wanted to include Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat. I wanted her to be like the newest recruit on the X-Men, and her basically following the team as they've already been kind of established. I grew up on X-Men Evolution, her being on the team, having that dynamic with Nightcrawler and all that. I thought that was really cool, and I know a lot of people might have picked her first, but I think she's a really good character.